shortage of it. We have Caitlin Clark walking out with Morgan Wallen. People act like this is some kind of a rarity, that some athlete is walking Morgan Wallen out on to one of his shows, and they're showing it on the big screen for the crowd. How many athletes have done this? 20? Myles Garrett? He's black. What? Wow. I mean, woo! The agenda and the activism in this league is thick, folk.
One game into the 2025 WNBA season. That's all it took. Caitlin Clark walks out with Morgan Wallen at his Indianapolis concert, and within hours, social media erupts with accusations of racism. The timing here is almost impressive in its predictability. But here's what makes this different from typical celebrity controversy. This isn't about what Clark said or did at the concert. This is about who she chose to appear with. And the mob's reaction reveals something far more interesting than the event itself.
Morgan Wallen walked out with Caitlin Clark in Indianapolis. Does this surprise anybody? This is what Morgan does. He gets the biggest athlete of the town, or a couple of them, Mahomes and Kelsey in Kansas City, and they all walk out on, I mean, what are we doing? Okay, I'm going to turn that down so I don't get a copyright strike. But
let's establish the facts. Morgan Wallen brings out major athletes in every city he performs in. Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce walked out with him. Cleveland, Myles Garrett made an appearance. Indianapolis, Tyrese Halliburton from the Pacers has done it. This is standard practice for Wallen's stadium tour. He showcases the biggest local sports stars to hype up the crowd. Clark is the biggest athlete in Indianapolis right now, arguably in the entire state of Indiana. Her appearance wasn't some political statement. It was predictable marketing. But that context doesn't matter to the activists who've been waiting for an opportunity like this.
Here we go. First, some bitch in the comments section openly supporting racism. Damn, Dave, the money ain't changed you, huh? Morgan Wallen, who used a racial slur on video to open Still the Problem tour at Minneapolis U.S. Bank Stadium. Who gives a bleep? Nobody cares. I mean, come on. You're a racist.
Here's where the accusations get specific. Morgan Wallen was caught on video in February 2021 using a racial slur. He apologized, took a break from music, went through sensitivity training, and returned to his career. That was 4 years ago. Since then, he's collaborated with black artists, worked with diverse teams, and built one of the biggest tours in country music history. Marshawn Lynch walked out with him. David Spade appeared at his shows. Mike Tyson showed up. These aren't people known for associating with racists. But according to the comments section, none of that matters. According to them, appearing with Wallen makes you complicit in racism. And Caitlin Clark just became their latest target.
Problematic. I mean, if you use the word problematic, flush yourself down a toilet. We don't need you. Texting and being friends with Dave Portnoy, hanging out with a racist MAGA dude at a certain point. God, y'all are still bitching about MAGA. Oh, suck it. Okay, how about this? Who walked out with Morgan Wallen? Marshawn Lynch, dude black, David Spade, Mike Tyson, Kelsey, Mahomes.
Look at the language being used here. Grand Wizard of the Klan, known racist, bigot who freely uses the N-word. These aren't measured criticisms. These are character assassinations. And they're not just aimed at Wallen anymore. They're aimed at Clark. One person wrote that she's fine being cool with a bigot despite having black teammates. Another said her appearance was very on brand for someone with a racist fan base. The implication is clear. Caitlin Clark is being accused of racism by association, not because of anything she said, not because of any action she took toward another person, but because she appeared at a concert with a country music star who made a mistake 4 years ago. And here's the part that should concern everyone. Regardless of where you stand politically, her own teammates were at that same concert.
Guys, race is gonna stick together. Look at this bullshit. I mean, people have lost the plot. to life, really. So many of her colleagues are black women. Oh. But she's fine being cool with the bigot who freely uses the N-word. So you ain't used the N-word at all lately, right? Question mark. Is that what we're saying? Got her chain snatched by Paige in the afternoon, posted up with the Grand Wizard of the Klan. Taking 2 L's in the same.
Sophie Cunningham was there. Multiple reports indicate that some of Clark's black teammates from the Indiana Fever attended the Morgan Wallen concert. They were in the same building, presumably enjoying the same show, but you won't see them getting called out in comment sections. You won't see viral tweets demanding they apologize for their presence. The outrage is selectively targeted at Caitlin Clark. Why? Because she's the face of the WNBA's mainstream breakthrough. She's the player who brought unprecedented attention to women's basketball, and for a certain segment of WNBA activists, that attention came from the wrong people. They've been vocal about this since her college days at Iowa. They resented her popularity. They resented her fan base. They resented that a white player became the league's biggest draw. Now they have ammunition, and they're using it.
I mean, oh, hell no. Shabazz, suck it. I mean, honestly. Sophie Cunningham posting it is icing on the cake. I can't with these people. I can't. We're 1 day into the season. Of course, the girl who has a racist fan base that she never addresses outside with another known racist. Very on brand. God, guys, I want y'all to understand something. I'm glad these people hate me. And they do. I mean, they.
Let's talk about what this pattern reveals. Throughout Clark's rookie season in 2024, there was constant discourse about her fans. Not about her play, not about her record-breaking assists or her impact on attendance and ratings. The conversation kept circling back to who was watching her and why. Some WNBA media members and activists labeled her supporters as racist, suggested they only cared about her because she's white, and created this narrative that her success was somehow problematic for the league. This Morgan Wallen incident is just the latest flashpoint in that ongoing tension. It's an excuse to reinforce a predetermined narrative that Caitlin Clark represents something dangerous, something that needs to be called out and contained. The fact that she's politically liberal, that her boyfriend Connor McCaffrey has expressed progressive views, that she's never said anything remotely controversial about race, none of that provides protection. Because this isn't really about her actions. It's about what she symbolizes to people who feel threatened by her popularity.
She's friends with Dave Portnoy. What do you guys expect from this clown-ass girl? Oh, my God. No one is shocked by this. What are we doing? What are we doing? Sure seems to have a lot of connections to a lot of extremely racist people. Oh, we don't. Oh. Unbelievable. By the way.
And here's the strategic problem this creates for the WNBA. The league just started its 2025 season. Opening night featured strong viewership numbers, driven largely by interest in Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Sponsors have increased their investment. National media coverage has expanded. The business metrics are pointing in the right direction for the first time in years. But instead of celebrating a successful opening weekend, the discourse immediately shifts to accusations of racism against the league's biggest star. Casual fans who tuned in to watch basketball are now seeing social media fights about whether Clark is racist for attending a concert. That's not how you grow a fan base. That's how you alienate the mainstream audience you desperately need to sustain long-term growth. The activists don't care. They'd rather have a smaller, ideologically pure fan base than a larger, diverse one that includes people they disagree with politically.
Wake up on Sunday morning, the racist fallout has begun for Caitlin Clark's the racist 2026. The season has started. Tell me what you think. In the comments, are you crashing out? Are you upset? Oh my God. check yourself into an asylum. If this bothers you, check yourself. You need help. God, it's amazing. How did everybody grow up in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s not getting offended? People have gotten so weak. It's unbelievable. Peace. I'm out till...
So let's address the fundamental question here. Is appearing at a Morgan Wallen concert a statement of support for racism? Because if the answer is yes, then we need to have some uncomfortable conversations about a lot of people. Myles Garrett, who's black and plays defensive end for the Cleveland Browns, walked out with Wallen. Is he supporting racism? Marshawn Lynch appeared at a Wallen show. Is he complicit? Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, both of whom have been vocal about social justice issues, associated themselves with Wallen in Kansas City. Are they problematic too? Of course not. Because reasonable people understand that appearing at a concert, especially as a local celebrity guest, doesn't constitute an endorsement of every past mistake that artist has made. Reasonable people understand that someone can acknowledge Wallen's 2021 incident was wrong, while also recognizing he's taken steps to address it and that his current behavior doesn't reflect that moment. But we're not dealing with reasonable people in these comment sections. We're dealing with activists who view everything through a lens of political warfare. And Caitlin Clark is their target. Here's what makes this situation particularly revealing about the current state of WNBA discourse. The league has spent years trying to build its profile, struggling with low ratings and minimal mainstream coverage. Then Caitlin Clark emerges, brings unprecedented attention, sells out arenas, drives record television viewership, and generates genuine cultural buzz. The business side of the WNBA is thriving because of her impact. But a vocal segment of the league's existing fan base resents that success. They resent who her fans are. They resent that she doesn't fit their preferred narrative about what the WNBA should represent. So they're constantly looking for reasons to tear her down, to delegitimize her popularity, to suggest there's something wrong with the attention she receives. The Morgan Wallen concert gave them an opening. It doesn't matter that her teammates were there. It doesn't matter that dozens of other athletes have done the exact same thing with Wallen. It doesn't matter that this is standard practice for major concert tours. What matters is that they can use this moment to reinforce their narrative about Clark and her fan base. Look at the specific language in these comments. The surprise racists are going to stick together. Very on brand for the girl with the racist fan base. Posted up with the Grand Wizard of the Klan. This isn't criticism, this is demonization. They're not suggesting Clark made a questionable decision. They're labeling her as actively racist, comparing her to Klan members, suggesting she's deliberately aligning herself with white supremacy. That's an insane leap from attended a country music concert. But that's where we are with WNBA discourse in 2025. The most successful player in league history can't appear at a local concert without being accused of racism by a mob that's been waiting for any excuse to attack her. And here's what the league needs to understand. This hurts everyone. It hurts Clark, obviously, who's being smeared despite doing nothing wrong. It hurts her teammates, who are put in an impossible position of either defending her and becoming targets themselves, or staying silent and letting the accusations stand. It hurts the Fever organization, which needs Clark to be marketable to maximize their business opportunities. And it hurts the WNBA as a whole, because casual fans see this insanity and decide the league isn't worth the drama. The activists think they're fighting for justice. What they're actually doing is sabotaging the league's growth by making it toxic and unwelcoming to the mainstream audience that could sustain it financially. They're prioritizing ideological purity over practical success, and they're doing it one game into the season. Think about the timing here. The WNBA just tipped off its 2025 campaign. Teams are trying to build momentum. Players are focused on basketball. The league is trying to capitalize on the momentum from last season's increased attention, and within 24 hours of opening night, the biggest story isn't about the games. It's about whether Caitlin Clark is racist for attending a concert. That's not an accident. That's a deliberate pattern. Certain voices in the WNBA ecosystem don't want Clark to succeed without constant controversy. They don't want her popularity to be celebrated. They want her to be perpetually on defense, constantly having to justify herself, always one step away from being canceled. So here's the real question. How long can this continue before it damages the league irreparably? How many casual fans will tune out because they're tired of the constant political warfare? How many sponsors will get nervous about associating with a league where the star player gets called a racist for attending a concert? How many media outlets will decide the WNBA isn't worth covering because every story turns into a minefield? The answer should concern everyone who actually cares about women's basketball, because this isn't sustainable. You can't build a successful professional sports league when your most marketable star is constantly under attack from your own fan base. You can't grow viewership when every moment of success is immediately followed by accusations and controversy. You can't attract mainstream sponsors when the discourse is this toxic. But the activists don't care about sustainability. They care about control. They care about enforcing their worldview. They care about making sure the WNBA represents their values, even if it means the league stays small and financially struggling. They'd rather be right than successful. And Caitlin Clark? She's just trying to play basketball. She showed up at a local concert as a celebrity guest, the same thing dozens of athletes have done before her. She didn't make a political statement. She didn't endorse anything controversial. She just appeared on stage, waved to the crowd, and left. For that, she's being called a racist. One game into the season, that tells you everything you need to know about where WNBA discourse stands in 2025. And it should worry anyone who wants this league to actually succeed.